Hi, this is Jayson, and we're going to be doing a very modern cool haircut on Jayson. Keeping in mind our spring collection cut and the versatility that's within that, we're going to take Jayson's underneath here, underneath his parietal, and really take all this short, scissoring over comb, leaving it disconnected from the top. In through the crown area, we're going to connect that and moving very, very quickly to a very long front. It's going to leave him lots of texture, lots of movement in the front, so that he has the versatility to meet any mood that he's in. It's going to be a real fun haircut. Let's get started. Let's start by pre-sectioning out Jayson's design. We've taken a horizontal parting right below the parietal before the head shape starts to round, all the way through the back profile across the lower crown to the opposite side recession. We know we're going to be taking this haircut short, so bring it all to the back and just remove the majority of the hair. We're going to be scissoring over comb this design. The reason I chose scissor over comb versus clippers with a guard is because if you use clippers with a guard, it follows the contour of the head shape, and I wanted to create a very distinct shape in the back, coming from shorter to longer, leaving just a slight corner towards the parietal. Again, I'm just removing most of the bulk before I really start to fine-tune the scissoring over comb, cleaning up the hairline where needed. I'm going to come back later and we're going to edge out this perimeter. But for now, my objective is to start at a very, very close length towards the nape, moving in to a little bit more of a corner, again, towards the parietal. I chose to use a shear that's just a touch longer to get more coverage on the comb. I like to move my shears laying flat onto the comb and the comb slightly angled towards the direction that I want to leave the length. The faster you open and close your shears, the less lines you'll create when you're scissoring over comb. There is a difference between using clippers with a guard versus scissor over comb. Scissor over comb, I choose the shape and I can also choose the texture, where guards on a clipper is going to cut the exact same length following the contour of the head shape, and that's not exactly what I wanted for this design. So now we're going to go in and we're going to edge in that perimeter. Sometimes you'll find the hairlines are a little difficult to work with, and as you can see, Jayson's hairline grows from his right all the way to his left. So we're making sure that we're creating that false hairline first, and then we'll again go in scissor over comb to create that nice tapered feel, moving into some length. Utilizing the clippers right at the nape area, I enjoy doing that. It gives me a little bit more of an accurate feel. And the head of those clippers right over the comb is kind of giving you the same effect as scissoring over comb. Attention to detail when you're creating very, very short hair designs is ever so important. Again, notice how I'm tilting that comb outward to make sure I'm not too aggressive when I start working towards that interior. Continue that shorter to longer feel, working right into that little bit of a corner at the parietal. Use the fine side of your comb to really pick that hair up and away from the head shape. Move your clippers back and forth briskly. Looking for symmetry on both sides. A little bit of a looser feel is using the wide side of your comb, as I'm doing here, just to kind of remove any stray hairs. So now I've gone through and I really want to make sure this is a softer line. I'm using a pair of thinning shears or blending shears. These have multiple teeth on it, so it's actually taking out very little hair at a time and just going in and fine-tuning that design and making it as perfect as I can. I like to make sure the underneath is fine-tuned and 95% finished. So now the underneath has been scissored over comb. I have the shape I want. We're going to drop down the entire top profile. We're going to separate front from back right at the crown area. Then we're going to subdivide that entire crown area into 7 radial subsections. Starting in the middle subsection, we're going to elevate this to 90 degrees where that bottom hair is coming straight out from the head shape, and we're going to connect it, moving up and over the head shape, leaving it slightly longer as we approach that crown area. Each section is cut on its own, utilizing that underneath as an entry point, and each section is laterally directed straight back from the head shape. Up and over the head shape, cutting between your hand and the head shape, moving as you're incising, creates rounded head shape layers. Everything is coming straight back off the head shape. Again, distance equals length, so by laterally directing it towards the back, I'm starting to get a really disconnected feel as I move into the side profile. Elevation straight out from the head shape, straight back from the head shape with the section, up and over, finishing slightly longer as I approach the crown. So now we've connected the back in through the crown area, and again through lateral direction you can see how as we approach the side profiles, the top is starting to have a very disconnected feel. Now we're in front of the crown area, taking a horizontal parting straight across the head shape. Now we're going to be taking vertical subsections, and from the front of that crown we're going to start a little bit shorter than what we cut in the back of the crown as our entry point, a touch shorter, moving our way to a touch longer. Laterally directing it straight back, shorter to longer. When that crown area falls out of your hands, then you should finish the top. Down and out, open and closing your shears, finishing at a very nice taper, so when that hair falls into the side profile, it's not a very hard visual blunt line. It's really soft and broken. Again, horizontal section across the top of the head shape, laterally directing it towards the back to an elevation approximately 135, and repeating that shorter to longer movement, cutting this section slightly longer than the previous section. Repeat the same exact movements for every subsection, down and out, slightly longer. You can be a little bit loose in your exit, meaning each section can be cut shorter, longer, That is adding texture to the design. This is your choice. This is your freedom of design here. You can see how that's breaking up already. You can see the negative space in it. You can see the length moving longer towards the front. So now we're taking another horizontal section right across the front, and again, vertical subsections, laterally directing it back, shorter to longer. The amount of vertical subsections that you take, again, depend on the density. If the hair is really thick, you can take more subsections to remove more of the bulk. Very fine hair, you want to keep your in and out movement more towards the ends just to break it up. You want to leave that density. Another section. Same exact movements. Notice I've cut every section standing in the back profile. Cutting towards me, my workspace is open, I see exactly what I'm doing, my entry point, my exit point. It's a very, very broken, piecey, shorter in the back, longer to the front design, but it's done accurately. The last section in the very front. Again, horizontally with vertical subsections, laterally directing these to the back profile, cutting shorter to longer. What I love about this is that the shape and the lines happen all by itself. Shorter to longer, flexible, very versatile, not only in its texture, but in its disconnection as well. I'm just slightly using an in-slicing movement to make sure that I have continuity from the back to the front. I'm not looking for a straight line, I'm just looking for some sort of connection, or as I said, continuity. All the way to that length in the very front. Do not take that length off the front. You're cutting both sides basically to a point at the nose, connecting from the back to the front, making sure it stays textured, as you can see here. Fine tuning it. There's my little point in the front. Just gonna break that up a little bit. You can see the negative space that's involved with this design. The haircut will speak for itself. This is a very casual look. I think it's going to look great, and he's going to have so many styling options. You'll love it.